I'm not sure if she's on the screen because the chat window on the right is blocking it. This is my special guest, Naga. This is her first time being out and on video. So that's this video's experiment, is seeing how Naga behaves while we paint. Now, today's painting for this video is going to be based off of a photo by Colin Woodward. Colin Woodward. He is a member of the Facebook page Ron Ranson Disciples, which, you know, everybody on there uses kind of the fast and loose approach, the hake brush, you know, some wet and wet, a pretty basic palette and whatnot. It's a really fantastic community, great people. Colin is a really nice guy and a really good painter. His style, he has the Ron Ranson elements in it with the fast and loose, but he seems to also follow a painter known as Roland Hilder, who had produced some art books in the past. He's no longer living. And, you know, Colin's paintings are very nice and gentle. He unfortunately does not make YouTube videos, and I think we're in the process of trying to convince him to do it. He also follows techniques that are shown by Lois Davidson, who is another member of that art group. So anyway, so he had shared this photo and everybody's having a try at it, and I figured I would have it a go. On my previous painting, Matthew Clemens, another guy in the group, one of the admins of that page, had suggested for the previous painting counter change. Now, counter change is whenever you have an object going from a light area to a dark area, or vice versa, in this case, dark to light, and you have that value transition opposite in the object that you're looking at. And it seems to take place in this photo very well. It's a good example. Here you see this tree, it's light over the dark areas, then over the dark areas it turns the light. So counter change is a very useful tool. It shows up a lot in landscape painting, and it's something that I'm going to keep in mind with this one. For the most part, I'm just going to paint and have fun with this one. Not really going to try to solve too many problems or solutions or whatnot. I just want to enjoy myself. So I'm going to set that off to the side. If it doesn't fall over, I have to do a little bit more cleaning on my table, since Naga is taking up some prime real estate. But she's a cutie, and getting her used to coming out of the cage and hanging out with me. After a few minutes, she starts getting explory and wanting to move around. So we'll see how long she decides to stay with us. She might make her way onto my shoulder in a bit if she gets a little squirmy. I want to play this one with a light hand, with just a nice light feel to everything. I don't know how much I'll go outside the regular palette, but so far it's just a little alizarin crimson, some raw sienna, and some ultramarine. And so just back and forth strokes. What I'm doing in the sky, I'm doing in reverse where the water is going to be. The water is going to be a little bit higher in value in some areas. We're going to mix a gray. We'll do Payne's gray, ultramarine. I could probably pull in a little alizarin in there. This is 11 by 15 sheet of paper, like usual, Stonehenge Aqua. Reflect some of those ideas down in the water. Like I said, I want to play this one light and airy at first. Now, I think I'll go phthalo blue since I haven't really used that in a few days. 2 paintings. Phthalo blue, burnt sienna, burnt umber. We'll put in our horizon. What you think? Still keeping things light and gentle. Now we do have these trees on the left, and then I'll make my way over to the trees on the right. And put in the reflection of the trees. And let that kind of disperse. I really don't want to put too sound of a reflection in. This is going to be around right here. Okay, so let's see where we're at. See if we want to do a dry off. See if Naga likes the blow dryer. She might enjoy it. All right, don't get scared. Oh, she looked. See if she likes the heat. Look at this Naga. Okay, so still see some areas that are kind of damp, but we'll leave it at that. I mixed a kind of higher concentration. If you use phthalo blue, it's just such a strong pigment that if you use too much of it, it really just overpowers whatever you're mixing it with. If you can see that on the video. So that's with burnt umber. You can see some areas where it's still damp, some areas where it's dry. Trying to flatten that paper out right here, and it's not wanting to work with me, but it's okay. Okay, this is going to stay wet for a moment, so I will probably come back to it with something else to feed inside it. But I'm going to warm it up with some raw burnt sienna. I don't want to make this too big. I really want to have that perspective and size. I'm going to take those siennas and feed it in for a little variety back there. So that was a raw sienna. I can take the rigger for a few strokes. Here, but I don't want to get too crazy with it. Okay, now we have our foreground mass on the side, and this is where really the big experiment is going to take place, the experiment of counter change. And once again, that's whenever we have an object going from a dark background on top of a dark object, transitioning to a light background, and the object's value changes in the other direction. So I'm going to really darken this up, trying to get the strongest mixture of this painting possible. I may have to pour some pure burnt sienna, burnt umber out. There we go. I want to keep this painting relatively fresh with the variety of colors, so let's bring this background up. Okay, so this is a whole object. Now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a card. Let's see how that tree looks. Looking at it upside down on the floor. Bring it up here. Then bring it up in here. Now, little scrapes for good measure. But I went from light, and now I'm going to bring it dark. And I'm just going to take the rigger with this. I'll try to dry brush in the feel. So far, Naga's doing really good. I'm really proud of you, Naga. So I adopted her before Thanksgiving, and we were having trouble with local pet store, Bearded Dragons. Um, I'm highly, I'm just allergic to cats, dogs, and whatnot, and getting allergy shots, taking medicine, etc. But I really wanted an animal, that I can take care of and hang out with. So we were looking into the bearded dragons, and the pet store ones we had issues with, unfortunately, health issues, and it was pretty sad. And in a kind of a last ditch effort, I ordered Naga from Arizona, and I had her shipped to me. So a little pricey, and that's the way pets are, animals are. But it's the decision I made, and so just kind of gave you guys the reasons for it, and just been getting her used to being out and hanging out with me, and sometimes I'll be completely honest, at this point she almost seems kind of bored and lonely in her tank. And when I take her out, she'll hang out for a little bit and then start getting squirmy and inquisitive and want to search around. So far she's doing really good. There might be a lot of just movement on my part and talking and whatnot that's really drawing her attention, especially the back and forth. So very interesting animal, interesting pet. She's like a garbage disposable with what she eats. Like, oh my god, eating out of house and home. But apparently that kind of tapers off as they get older. She's 6.5 months old, almost 7 months. And she's really pretty, really unique colors. And the lady that I ordered her from, I talked to on the phone for a while, and I said, oh, I want the largest, healthiest one you have. Color and beauty was Lanya, Cajun French word for a little extra. And so far, she seems super healthy, which is really cool. So just to reiterate some ideas with this one, the concept of counter change: light trunk over darker background, went to a darker trunk over a lighter background. Oh, Naga, no. No. Oh, I spoke too soon. Oh, got my shoulder. Okay, baby. The pigments are not toxic. I make sure that I have relatively safe pigments that I use. So for my health and for now Naga's health when she decides to crawl across the painting. So yeah. I anticipated that she would eventually move, but I didn't know that she would go right across the painting. Okay. So I think at this point we should call this painting done, just because I had said, I wanted that lightness. I wanted to really make things soft and colorful. The only real experiment was the counter change. We got the softness in here. You can tell it's still wet. Could potentially add a darker dry brush effect right in here for perspective, to get a little perspective going. I'm not sure if I really want to do it. Maybe I'll just go like that for the top of the water. If the volume of my voice changed at all, it's because I'm just leaning back. Now she's just hanging out on my shoulder. Could add a little bit of darkness back in here. Just for a little bit of interest. I think for the most part, we should call it done. In theory, interesting thing that we need to look at is this shape right here with darker objects around it. It could potentially be a darker tone right there. Is the one tone affecting the other tone. Interest-wise, let's stand up and look at it. I think we should leave it like that for interest's sake. So let me go put Nog in our cage. I'm going to come right back and we're going to look at the big picture and we'll see how it looks under a Mac. Never mind, she's on the flat of my back. So as I hunch over and dry this off while she's hanging out of my back, we'll see what happens. Now, we had this one pretty light and airy. That was the goal. We could have actually probably left some areas blank and made a, is it a vignette or a vignette? But there we go. There's our results. This is based off of a photo by Colin Woodward. Very overall fantastic, funny guy who we need to convince to start making videos. You could find him on Ron Ranson Disciples, and you can see the other painters in the group, their take on this scene and the photo. So I hope you enjoyed. Come visit us. Check out the links below to my other Facebook stuff. I think I'll try to put a link there for the Facebook page as well. All right, everybody, have a great day. Stay out of trouble and enjoy.